This is like next level shit. Like, what the fuck is trenbolone acetate, bro? Like, that looks like heroin. Anything you got to inject with a needle is insane to me. All right, we're gonna be checking out a video called Gen Z versus Millennials.
When someone says they were born in the year 2002, I automatically think, damn, this is the oldest looking 6-year-old I've ever seen. Well, I won't be using that one when they ask me about the island. I was born in 1996.
The island is crazy. What the fuck?
Making me just barely a millennial, meaning I'm somewhat of an expert on my older cohort who thinks doggo, pupper, adulting, and having an actual—
Bro, listen, if you don't know, I am a millennial. Like, that's no secret. And I've always hated that when people say that shit like doggo and adulting. Like, I never fucked with that. I'm not gonna lie. I think this is mostly a certain demographic. I'm not gonna say who that use that type of language. That shit to me, I always thought was kind of cringe.
Wedding to a real person they love is still a thing, while also being able to tell Gen Z that making fun of us for skinny jeans doesn't do anything. We inherited housing prices and 3 financial crises from the baby boomers. You will not even remotely psychologically affect us.
Unfortunately, the world is fucked for everybody. I guess this is one way to look at it. It's like there's bigger fish to fry. You know what I mean? Man, I didn't expect to get hit with like some reality. I was even trying to think about that shit right now.
Will not even remotely psychologically affect most of us. The first thing we have to do is obviously define the generations, which in the textbook is 1981 to 1996 for millennials and 1997 to 2012 for Gen Z. Problem is it can be hard to tell when you're kinda in the middle, because to the outside observer, Gen Z might look a lot older than they are on account of all the Botox and filler.
It's also funny when you get to like a certain age, it doesn't even fucking matter anymore. Like everybody younger than you, they just feel like they're the same age and forever younger. Like you guys could both be in your 50s. Like you can be like 50 years old, and anybody who's like younger by a certain margin, you still kind of just look at them like, I don't know, a child or something. I don't know. It's weird. It's just a weird like phenomenon. It's got to be something. It's got to be a word for it.
Whereas millennials look a lot younger than they are on account of all the Botox and filler, meaning you have to look at behavioral cues to tell the difference. Because us millennials are trying so hard to cling on to our youth, we're in fact only differentiable from Gen Z by 3 things: ankle socks, hairlines, and when a DJ says, "Put your hands up," we do it with an open palm, whereas—
Why is he crying my shit right now, bro? This is not what I was expecting. God damn.
Z does it with a closed palm. Gen Z does this because you automatically close your hand when you associate with dropping down to the floor, whereas millennials raise an open palm because we don't think Black Lives Matter.
Alright,
like
man.
I'm here representing my fellow millennials, I did only squeak in there by 1 year, and there are some millennialisms that are too ancient even for me.
What are the chances that he brings up Harry Potter? You can't have a video talking about millennials without bringing up Harry Potter at least once. I'm sorry.
Take, for example, answering the phone. Why? Similarly, Gen X still texts like they have an old school brick phone.
I think I'm in a rare camp of people that actually don't mind talking on the phone. Like, I get so many people prefer to text. It's way more convenient. That's cool too. But I actually like talking on the phone, like my friends and shit. I don't know. I've always been that way. And I feel like things can get like messed up in text when you're trying to convey certain things. Like sometimes you just got to talk.
Meaning all of their messages are like, "Yo, bring drinks. See you at 5. Sunglasses emoji." Which is at least chill and straight to the point. Millennials, in contrast, have all evolved the 2-thumb texting technique, meaning they're able to send you a single paragraph-long text like it's an email that you avoid opening at all costs until you really, really have to respond.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When I get like a wall of text from certain people, low key, it's like I automatically assume with that being like something bad. You know what I mean? It's like, why are you texting me this much information? Did something happen? And then I kind of avoid it for a second. Like I don't look at it immediately. Also, it depends on who it's coming from. But if it just comes out of the blue and I'm not expecting it, I'm like, okay, something must have happened. God damn it.
Gen Z, on the other hand, sends multiple messages to indicate punctuation or a different thought, usually ending it with a skull emoji to tell you they've died and will no longer be texting you.
I feel like this isn't, maybe it's just me, but like I've also used like, I text, you know, it's, I guess, slang and certain like a shorter way to type shit. Like why type entire things out when you can type, you know, like this, you know what I mean? Especially when you're talking to your friends and it's just a text, it's a group chat. It's not like I'm talking to my boss or something like that. I don't know. I think everybody just types like this up to a certain age, I suppose.
You back. If you're a smug elder millennial who's like, why does my younger sibling send 4 messages back to back when they could have just typed it in 1 message?
Because it's the same shit, essentially. It's the same thing, and it doesn't bother me. So this, I can't relate to this part. I don't care either way.
That shit.
I almost prefer like smaller text, send them individually instead of just like a big paragraph.
Is so annoying. First of all, if you're annoyed because you have your phone on vibrate when I'm texting you, you can stick it up your ass. Second, if you looked at literacy statistics recently, Gen Z doesn't know how to read, so they don't know how to punctuate in the first place. And lastly,
See, I wonder if that's true. I feel like when you're texting, punctuation doesn't matter. You're not writing like a thesis or an essay. It's like we're just texting. Like I'm never gonna shit on somebody because they text without punctuation. To me, I think that's just weird.
multiple messages is clearly the superior form of texting, anyone except your boss, because it allows you to better punctuate your rap battles with the homies. If you think about it, line breaks are literally poetry. When it comes to socializing and how you like to have a good time, millennials and Gen X are notorious alcoholics, but Gen X also does cocaine and millennials instead do weed.
I'm the type of person where like I'll drink, but I only drink for like special occasions. Like I'm not gonna go home and like, damn, I gotta grab a 6 pack on the way home and drink it after work. Like I don't do that shit. But I'll drink if like at a party or something. Like I've never been a big drinker.
Gen X are alcoholics on cocaine because it was the rock and roll culture of the time, whereas millennials are alcoholics and smoke weed because they all have anxiety and need to self-medicate in order to socialize. Gen Z, on the other
I'm also very thankful I'm not one of those people that has to smoke to socialize. I actually like talking to people. I like being around people. Of course, I have my limits and have my days where I really don't want to associate, but I genuinely like being around new people and like I don't know, it's just nice.
hand was very gently parented, don't even pretend they'll ever own a home, and never socialize publicly, so they just take Tren, Zins, and Goon for dopamine.
What the fuck is
Home
Hold
and
on.
never socialize publicly, so they just take Tren.
What the fuck is trend? That's new. See, that's the thing. Like, I don't know how I don't know how they do it. Like, I understand weed, I guess. And I can't say I relate to Coke. Coke is crazy. Even if it was part of the culture at the time, that's fucking nuts. That's like a real drug to me. Coke. Weed is whatever, but Coke, you're doing Coke. And then this is like next level shit. Like, what the fuck is trenbolone acetate, bro? Like that looks like heroin. Anything you gotta inject with a needle is insane to me, bro.
Zins, and Goon for dopamine. One thing that Gen Z clearly outdid the millennials on is their slang, because just like high school, millennials also blundered the language on more than one occasion, coining such terrible turns of phrase as doggo, adulting, epic win, on fleek, it's lit fam, swag, I can't even, I did a thing, and calling any type of knowledge hacks. In contrast, Gen Z slang had a stranglehold on our broader vocabularies right away. For example, here's some Gen Z slang you hear all the time, which I will now translate in case it's not clocking to you.
I know he's just joking. I know he's just joking. But him saying that shit the way he just said it, I don't know, it got under my skin for a second.
Let him cook. He's in the process of doing something well that isn't cooking, so don't interrupt him. She ate. She looked good or did something well that
Nah, Cook is actually, I fuck with Cook. Let him cook. Like, that's a good one, man. Come on. I'm sorry.
isn't eating. Riz, charismatically.
Never really cared for Riz.
Out, mental
Crash Out wasn't really my thing either. I mean, I
breakdown,
say it, but
shit slaps. It's really
Okay, so here's my thing about Gen Z slang. A lot of it is just things Black people have been saying for a while. I feel like this is common knowledge. But then the thing is, it got exposed to that demographic online, and it starts going crazy, and people act like it originated from, that's where it came from, that it's just online slang. When it's something that's been said forever, like something that's crazy to me that I think has been kind of annoying to see people use. Maybe annoying isn't the word, but it's just been weird, is the term unk. Like people have been driving that like into the ground, and it's something I've heard my entire life from like family members and stuff like that. It was never like a new term to me, but recently it's been going crazy online and it's been used as an insult in ways. And it's just, it's very interesting to see that thing. And it's not just unk, it's other slang as well.
good.
Like slaps. That's also been around forever. But for some reason, I don't know, it's a strange phenomenon. Fire's been around forever too. Like what? There's no way. That's not Gen Z slang. That's like, I would say it's millennial. It might even predate millennial. I'm not gonna lie.
It's different. It's really good. Bussin', it's really good. Gas, it's really good.
See, some of these have been around forever.
No cap.
It's driving me crazy.
For real? On God? For real?
Cap has been around for a minute. On God's been around for a minute. It's just people getting exposed to it for the first time thanks to the internet. The internet has been like a boiling pot for all types of like culture and like slang. So people are just picking up slang they've never heard before, and they're almost claiming it as their own or as new when it's just been around forever.
True, for real, facts, For real? Deadass? For real?
Oh my God. Deadass is one that drives me crazy. I've been saying that shit my whole life. I've been saying facts my whole life, and I've been saying true my whole life, or most of my life that I can remember, my teen years and shit. And it's like, this is not new stuff. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse here. Y'all get the point.
For real, for real, for real. One thing that older millennials have a terrible take on is that Gen Z has bad fashion. Gen Z has great fashion.
I agree. I do like. I think a lot of Gen Zs, like I've seen, have a really good sense of like fashion, which is so funny because I don't want to generalize, but a lot of them don't go out, but like they have really nice fashion. So I was like, well, what's the point of getting looking nice and then you don't go out and do shit?
Especially compared to us millennials at the same age.
Stop. Some of that shit's kind of nice, bro. Hold on. That shit. That's the thing. You got to judge things within their time period. You can't really go off of what people dressed back then and then compare it to now, because it's always gonna be like a weird like a disconnect because you can't appreciate it because you wasn't there. It was just different.
Besides, when most millennials were teenagers, social media hadn't been invented yet. So
Thank
instead of
God.
growing up trying to imitate the most liked Instagram trend, we had peace, contentment, and mixed and matched our clothing like a hand-me-down buffet exactly to our own taste. We didn't dress to impress, we dressed to express.
I mean, that's not true. I think it was both. People were definitely dressing. I guess maybe it depends on where you grew up, but people were definitely dressing to impress, especially if you're in high school. Everybody's trying to look good. But what looked good back then may not necessarily mean be the same thing as what looks good now as far as fashion goes. But people were definitely sure they're using dressing to express themselves, but they're also wanting to look good around their peers. And as far as like social media, like I'm glad social media wasn't around when I was younger. However, I don't take that as me saying I don't like social media. Like I love social media, I love the internet, I love all that shit. But the thing that sucks with younger kids now is I really feel bad for them. It's like it's hard to do shit because you feel like you could just end up on some viral post online somewhere just because you did something cringe in public, or maybe you slipped and fell. It's just like some dumb shit. Like living in the fear of that as a kid, that's got to mess up with you, like mess with your mental like crazy.
Cultural anxiety and fear of bothering our parents in case the baby boomers got mad at us, which they pretty much always were. You might not like it, but this was peak millennial fashion.
Listen, this shit kind of hard, man. I don't care.
To prove that Gen Z has better fashion than millennials, in today's social media, it's common for an influencer to be chatting up girls on the street like, yo, you're so pretty, can I get your number? And she's like, I'm 16. And the guy's like, oh my God, you can't be 16. What? I gotta get out of here, chat.
I don't know. That's like, I don't know. That's something else. I don't know if that's like a fashion thing. I think it's just, I don't even know, man. But always ask for ID, man. Always ask how old people are before you even try to like, you can't just flirt with anybody. You got to be careful, man.
Back in my day, you'd already know they were 16 because we were all ugly. Furthermore, Gen Alpha now thinks that point-and-shoot digital cameras give a cool vintage look, meaning guess what? Low-rise bedazzled jeans are getting thrifted, and America...
That's what I'm saying. See, fashion just goes in a circle. Like, you want to shit on millennial fashion, but I've been seeing a lot of it come back, man. Like, that's just how fashion is. So can you really say the fashion back then was worse than it is now when people just, like I said, just going in a circle?
Apparel hoodies are right around the corner. We are so back, baby. At the end of the day, ask most millennials, and we sort of feel we grew up in the best era to be kids, but the worst era to be adults. Gen Z, on the other hand...
Yeah, I can see that. That does fucking suck.
...just thinks, wait, things were actually good? As an example, when someone says make America great again, Gen Z thinks you can't make something great again if it was always trash. But baby boomers think, I remember when me and Steve worked for Chrysler and Detroit was the richest city in the whole world. I bought a house for me, my wife, and my 8 brothers and sisters back when we were 23.
Also, you have to keep in mind, nostalgia is a hell of a drug. Like, looking back on stuff, maybe it wasn't as bad as it is now, but it wasn't perfect. There were shitty things, and the world was shitty back then too. It's just, again, when it comes to internet, it exposed us to a lot of the problems in the world and made things immediate. Because back then, your only access to a lot of information worldwide was just what you saw on the news or what you read in the newspaper or what somebody told you by word of mouth. I said that backwards. But you get what I'm saying. Now it's like you can get updates from everything going on immediately online. So now you're getting exposed to things around the world. Like a lot of the shitty things that have been happening now have been happening back then too. You were just living in ignorance. That's all.
But millennials here make America great again and think, remember the first 150 Pokemon? The Sega Genesis? Rock Band? Growing up without a cell phone? When you made YouTube?
I feel like this is just us. It just happens when you get older, you know? It just happens to anybody. It doesn't matter what age you are. As you get older, you start wanting to go back to your childhood and relive it and just remembering the good old days. I think that's very normal. I don't think it's just exclusive to millennials. Also, growing up with a cell phone fucking sucks. Like, who wants to read a map and print out shit when you're driving? Like, there's certain things that are just, I don't care what anybody says. It's just better now because of the internet. I do not care. I'm not one of those people that are like, oh, I hate the internet. I wish it didn't exist. Blah. I was like, no, the internet has brought so many made things so much better in a lot of ways. Like, I'm never gonna sit here and shit on internet. Is it perfect? Does it have issues? Sure, but I think the positives far outweigh the negatives when it comes to the internet.
Videos just for fun, getting free malware on LimeWire, using an iPod Touch to pretend to drink beer, how people would say too soon after you made a 9/11 joke. Remember how badly we fucked up our teenage years, but it didn't matter because we had no social media?
I mean, who? To be fair, who doesn't fuck up their teenage years? That's the whole point of being a teenager.
Remember smog? As I was reading this, I got nostalgic and remembered some more things, so I redid the video so I could keep going. Remember Deltora Quest? Ordering
No.
things from the Scholastic Book Fair? The Bermuda Triangle? Remember burning a CD?
Alright, man. Okay,
Remember
man.
when DLC was just another game called an expansion pack? Remember rewinding a VHS before you returned it to Blockbuster? I remember.
He's frying my shit right now, bro. Oh my goodness.
Anyway, us millennials are gonna go stare at the Winamp visualizer for a while. You guys can talk amongst yourselves.
That was actually a really good video. I never heard of this channel prior to this. I gotta come back and check out more content.